Hi, Lisa Wilson, Human Resources Cultural Consultant and Leadership Vision Coach. Not speaking well today. I wanted to come in and talk about trust because I've mentioned before that I've been called into more mediations in the last 8 months than I have been in 7 years of business. And that means that somewhere along the way, people have lost trust with each other. There's been some kind of disagreement, and I guarantee you some break in their trust. Now, there is the work of the mediation. We come together, we have a conversation, and we agree how to move forward. But that won't be it. Once trust is broken, it takes time to come back to a place where we can trust each other. So while in the mediation, we can come up with ways to, okay, here's how we're going to work together. This is what it's going to look like. And we can make some plans and hopefully come to some understanding. That whole piece of trust will take time to return. And it's important for businesses to know that. It's not just one and done. So you go to the mediation and, hey, everybody's fine. It doesn't work like that. There's still a lot of emotions that people need to work through and a lot of comfort that needs to return. And I've seen this in my own life, and I'm seeing it with other companies as well, is that there are often extenuating circumstances causing the problems. So for myself, I've both been in the situation where I've made a complaint against someone and I've had someone make a complaint against me. Now, when I had the person make the complaint against me, it was all unfounded. After they did the investigation, it was all unfounded. But then they asked us to go to mediation. The mediation did not go well. And this person was found to have misrepresented or misheard what the investigator even had said. So they felt the investigator had said something, and the investigator now refused to meet with that person on their own. But they put her back in reporting to me with nothing to fix the situation. It didn't go well. It didn't go well for her. She actually ended up quite sick, and understandably and rightly so. She, I'm sure, felt like she had no support. So here she is. She's made a complaint. So obviously she had some feelings towards me. I don't think they were towards me. The longer I had been there, I see that there was some things in the company that created it. But I don't think so I think it was just I was the person she took it out on. But it doesn't matter. When she was put back, then suddenly she's made this complaint and now she's just put back, okay, you got to report to her again. Okay, well, we attempted a mediation. It didn't get to where it needed to be and it didn't finish. And then we were just left. It wasn't comfortable for her. It wasn't comfortable for me. It wasn't comfortable for anyone. So you can't just allow these things to be, oh, well, here, you figure it out. They're not going to figure it out. This employee ended up quite ill. She had several different issues come up. And I'm quite sure that was as a result of stress, that the stress in her body, she just couldn't handle it anymore. And then I had the same situation where I didn't know what to do. And so I put in a complaint. Again, same thing. It was investigated. We went to a mediator. I still didn't feel that everything was taken care of, but regardless of whether it was or whether it wasn't, I ended up feeling quite ill. And to the point that I went to see my doctor and he said, can you take a vacation? And I said, actually, yes, I'm planning one right now. And I planned a vacation in 10 days and left. I left Northern Ontario and went to the Bahamas with 10 days notice. So I said, yes, actually, I'm planning a vacation. He said, good, because otherwise I was going to put you off work. So I had no choice because the stress that makes for people is so uncomfortable. It just, you don't know what to do with yourself. And so now you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. You don't know where you can get support. So when these things happen, it's great. You can call someone like myself, you can get a mediator in, and you can try and mediate the conversation. Now, when I leave a mediation, we have plans. I obviously don't stay in touch with the plans, but there is a plan created by the 2 parties or 3 parties, whatever it is, on this is how we're going to communicate going forward. Now, they also have a follow-up plan. We don't leave without that either. These are the dates we're actually checking in as to whether the follow-up plan works. Now, I have no control or anything as to whether or not those things happen between the 2, but the managers know. And so when you get there as the manager, go and check in, and you need to check in regularly. How are things going? Is it working? Are you able to work through this? Is the communication still happening? And you need to be checking with both parties separately and together. Don't leave these things as, oh, well, it's done now. It's not done now. There are lingering feelings, and some of those lingering feelings may be towards you, the manager. In the last 8 months, every time that I've done a mediation, there has been something that comes out that the company needs to know as well, that there's some policy or procedure or maybe whether it's a policy that is written or a procedure that's written or a procedure that has just kind of come about. There's something that was causing this problem as well. So I return that to the managers. You need to act on those. If you don't act on those two staff members have worked hard to come together and they've told you what they need from you. You need to deal with it. And if you can't deal with it in the way that they asked, you find a different way to deal with them and go back and talk about it. Because now, not only is the trust broken between the two employees, but the trust will be broken between you and your employees. We need to be able to have these conversations. We need to be able to work through them. Not everyone is going to agree, and that's okay. But you do need to make sure that you're at least attempting to deal with it. And as I've said a few weeks ago, don't leave it too long. Make sure that you're dealing with it as soon as possible. The longer you leave it, the more the feelings come and the more frustration that has come in place and the harder it is to move through. So we're coming into the weekend again. Happy Friday, all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We are finally starting to have some, well, really not much has changed up here as far as restrictions, but it feels lighter because at least we're getting some summer weather and can spend more time outside rather than stuck in our houses. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. As always, if you have any questions, I have a free 20-minute call that you can do with me. You just book by the link. I usually put it in the comment section. It will be there again today. Have a wonderful weekend.